Yeah. Okay. Yo, what's going on, everybody? I know we probably never got a chance to introduce myself, but I just want to take this time out to do that right now and let y'all know who I am. Hey yo, you could call me Harlem Witness or Staten Island Witness. You might have seen me. You know, what a lot of people don't realize about me is that I actually grew up in all areas of New York City. I actually lived in all 5 boroughs. So, you know, I came in contact with different people, went to different churches, also attended different schools. But no matter where I was, I always had God in my Jesus music.
I want to let y'all know failure is not an option. No matter what y'all doing in your life or whatever you're going through, you can make it.
So yes, I grew up in Harlem, originally from St. Nicholas Projects, right on 129th Street. You know, my mom made do with what we had. She would always actually play music, and I can actually remember her playing artists such as Luther Vandross, Prince, and my personal favorite, which was actually Michael Jackson. You know, he influenced me to the point where I even went ahead and got my winter glove and dipped it in glitter, and I would walk around and, you know, act as if I was Michael Jackson. I thought I was the man. An unfortunate situation occurred, which resulted in my mom moving us down south to live with our aunt. By us, I mean, you know, my brother and my sister. Our aunt took us in with open arms. She opened her house to us. Aunt got us started in church, where we were actually baptized. We began to participate in the youth Sunday school classes and everything like that. And I remember actually I was really terrified because I had to recite all 66 books of the Bible in front of the whole entire congregation, and I almost peed my pants. Like, I was really, really scared. But I did make it through. Church became a part of my life at that point. Things got better back at home, so my mom got in contact with my aunt, and we moved back up to New York City. We struggled to settle and move from place to place, such as Harlem, the Bronx, Queens, and finally reaching Brooklyn. All the while, we attended church in Harlem, and the reason for us moving around so much was actually because we were, you know, living in shelters at that time. God saw fit to bless us with an apartment located in Brooklyn. While attending school in Brooklyn, I developed a love for poetry, and I began to read and write a lot of poetry. One Sunday morning, I was actually on the way to church with my family. We were riding the A train. I was actually writing a poem in, you know, one of my notebooks or whatever, and, you know, I really felt something drop in my heart, and something was just, I felt something as if it was about to come out of me. What ended up happening was I flipped to a clean sheet of paper and I just began to write. I read it over and I realized that it wasn't poetry, it was actually my very first Christian rap. And I really felt that God gave me a gift and that He just molded and shaped it into what it is now. And I was very excited. I showed it to my brother, I showed it to my sister and my mom, and they was like, "Oh my God, you wrote Christian rap." I was actually 11 at the time. I really counted as a gift from God. Failure is Not an Option did not start out as a mixtape. I repeat, it did not start out as a mixtape. For me, it was actually a dream. Long story short, I was actually living in my old apartment in Brooklyn with my family, of course, and, you know, I got hungry, so I went to the refrigerator and there was some bright green grapes, and I began to eat them. I just kept eating them. After I started eating them, you know, about 5 minutes later, my stomach started turning. You know, I didn't feel well. And I came out of my kitchen, made it right, and, you know, that's where the living room was. Surrounding me was actually my girlfriend and my mom and, you know, my family members. And I fell onto my hands and knees, and they was like, they were just, you know, like looking at me, and I began to regurgitate. I began to throw up, and I remember it wasn't like, you know, it was actually a clear liquid that was just coming out of my mouth, and it wouldn't come out. So I'd be literally put my arms around it, and I began to pull it and pull it and pull it, and it was actually silver plates, or gold plates rather. It was gold plates, and it said, "Failure is not an option." And I woke up out of my sleep. Normally I don't get dreams like that, so it didn't scare me, but it just, at that time, it put me in a place where it was like, you know what, this means something. And I felt in my heart that it was really time to tell folks that failure is not an option, and that no matter what you're going through, you can make it. And the funny thing is about that message, before I could tell anybody that message, that, hey, you know, failure is not an option, brother, failure is not an option, sister, before I could spread that message, I had to learn it for myself and literally depend on God. So Failure is Not an Option was actually my very first mixtape that I came out with in June 2011 of last year. It was my first full-length release. I was very excited about it. You know, I've gotten a lot of support from, you know, websites, blogs, friends, some family members, and things like that. And it's really been a blessed time. So right now I am looking to even push the message further, whether it be to churches, to open mic venues, different venues around New York City. And, you know, I've had the privilege to start traveling around the Northeast Coast, and I'm really excited about everything that's going on. So God has really been doing some major things in my life, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So I will definitely continue to spread my Jesus music as much as I can, and I look forward to hopefully coming to your venue or coming to your city soon. Much love and God bless you.
Yo, when I say